Hi, my name is Megan Waffer, and today I'd like to give a speech on bootlegging. Josh Dunn, sherbet Neapolitan and the sensibly sized pebble of 1812, Los Angeles is a great pace, but falsettos was never there in 1993, and genderqueer rock and roll in centimeter-long phallic organ are all names of illegally recorded Broadway musicals taken by audience members that were then uploaded to the internet with names that are intentionally not the title of their shows, so that other people will be able to enjoy the shows without paying for their viewing. Bootlegging is the name of this sneaky videoing, and is against the law for 7 reasons. The main point being that bootlegging takes money away from the cast, crew, and directing staff of the show, and from the theater putting on the show. The cons outweigh the pros as well. If the viewer gets caught, he or she may be asked to delete the media he stole, and be asked to leave the theater without a refund. The problem comes from the fact that everything is copyrighted. All the sets, characters, costumes, etc. that go along with making a show are owned by somebody else, and it truly is stolen property. People could lose their jobs because an audience member wanted to take home a little piece of their trip to 42nd Street. Although bootlegging is illegal and has nasty repercussions, it is actually the best and easiest way to introduce new audiences to the theater. Tickets are expensive, and a lot of young people have no means to afford it, rendering the world of theater inaccessible to lower classes. Hand in hand with that, lots of shows that would appeal to many have already closed their doors or are in a different part of the world entirely. On a more educational note, shows with certain actors or a prize for their work as a performer, again, would be inaccessible. Lastly, it is a way to bring the beauty of this art into the lives of people who would die to see the show in real life. It opens doors into making fan art, writing fan fiction, and buying merchandise from the original owners that would not have been open if audiences had not fallen in love with the show from a shaky bootleg. Bootlegging is the key to making the whole system work by bringing a new generation to the world into theater despite its consequences. For example, Hamilton, an American musical, has premium tickets for sale during the week after Christmas for $1,150. Let me repeat that, $1,150. A young person who makes around $5,000 a year can in no way convince himself or herself to spend over a fifth of their yearly income on a ticket to the hottest musical. The given cost leaves out the factor of travel fare and hotel room fees along with food costs. Assuming they fly the cheapest route, United Airlines, you would pay $319 for a round trip. Money spent while traveling would equal out to around $25 for travel food and other comforts. While splurging on a trip to New York, they decide they want the Broadway experience complete with hotel room in Times Square. That would level out to around $265.05 a night. Food in the city would round up to be about $40 for a single person eating during the time they spend in the city. It would be $1,799 and a nickel to spend an overnight trip in New York City. For a lower class family that earns enough for basic pleasures, but not enough to swing a trip for a son or daughter that fell in love with the show, the possibility of not being able to take their child to see it is very real. So many Broadway shows are overpriced that lots of people have no disposable means to buy the ticket, much less afford the entire trip around it. When Broadway shows are priced this high, they cut off access to middle and lower class citizens who would idealistically love to shower the production praise, buy merchandise, and support the show by paying for their ticket. At that point, from the point of a young teen with no way to attend a show, why invest time listening to a soundtrack? Why pay any money to try and support the show by purchasing merchandise if the audience member has no way to know the entire story? Why give the world of Broadway and theater the time of day at all when the possibility to have access to the show is unavailable to all it would appeal to? Quote, Lame Furry takes Japanese drugs to become cool, part 1, unquote, is a bootleg many people have watched many times to keep reliving the initial feeling of life that they had gotten when they first watched it. The quirky characters, believable and relatable storyline, and the hearts that writers Joe Iconis and Joe Traz infuse into the book and musical apply to literally millions of fans across the world. Without access to the video, they could have not gotten the favorite musical of many. It is a bootleg for the show Be More Chill, and it made its debut at Two River Theater for 2 weeks in New Jersey, featuring Will Connolly as Jeremy Here, Jake Boyd as Jake Dillinger, and Eric William Morris as the Squip. The voices matched the original recording and performance, and it would have been a dream to those millions to have seen them live. It closed in 2015. Since the bootleg got so popular, the musical blew up and was contracted for a revival run off-Broadway at the Pershing Square Signature Center Theater in 2018. Thanks to the popularity of the original bootleg video, the show has also been contracted to perform on Broadway at the Lyceum Theater, premiering last February. The complaint of many was the off-Broadway casts that come to replace their characters. Without Lame Furry Takes Japanese Drum to Become Pool Part 1, the bootleg I mentioned earlier, these fans could not have been able to see the talented actors forging the roles everyone had become obsessed with. Again, in the same vein of Be More Chill, now that the rights are available for purchase, more theaters are putting on the show. Without the previously mentioned bootleg, the iconic multicolored striped shirt that the main character Jeremy wears in every production would be a style choice of one designer. Michael Wannell would never have donned his red signature hoodie, but once, and the Squip's anime villain look would only make the theater's one show run. Actors portraying which would not be able to understand what the score notes of Go to Rifftown and Stay in Rifftown, Buy Property in Rifftown, and Hold for Jesus in the Squip song meant in response to their actions or dances. This is only from a pleasure point of view, though. From a more rigid one, we could take Hamlet into consideration with the points above. A costume designer could look up a particular rendition of Hamlet that did particularly well and study how Hamlet carried himself in the chosen costume. Is he a revenge-driven man drowning in depression at the death of his father? Is he an angsty teen looking for rebellion against his parents? Is he actually crazy, and his descent into madness is the play? All of these are different interpretations of the same Hamlet, but depending on which one the costume designer chooses to create the mood for, it changes the set other directors will design. This is the most personal reason for the extensive given bootlegs. Without them, so many actors and plain old kids would not have been made the people they are today. Heathers, for example, teaches kids to value the worth of their friendships with people of different social statuses. Be More Chill shows the values that being cool is not actually all it's cracked up to be. The Book of Mormon proves that just because something is not the status quo, that quo doesn't have to be bad. Chicago taught that pretending to be pregnant could get a woman out of a murder case. Not all of them were lessons that would have been learned without bootlegs, but they're all held dear. Any theater nerd that resigns themselves to a shaky video of his favorite show where the lighting is wonky, the sound cuts out on a regular basis, the view is obstructed by a pole and a tall person sitting in front of the bootlegger, is a kid that would likely buy merchandise and rep the show to other kids who get sucked into buying more merchandise. Through bootlegs, other teenagers get to be exposed to these amazing shows and they get sucked into the world of theater. Without bootlegs, future actors would be pursuing a science degree or a STEM career instead of a theater degree with stars in their eyes and a dream to perform someday. These are the kids that write novels of fan fiction and create breathtaking works of fan art that bring into reality other people's views and perspectives. And it comes down to the accessibility of theater, which is helped by bootlegs. Bootlegs are vital to the Broadway community. They are the reasons thousands of children tell their parents they want to be an actor. They are the reason that love and jealousy, hate and humor, and tragedy and rebellion live in lower-class families. They are the reason that ticket prices are raised so high because the public knows the show and would pay nearly anything to see it live. Without them, the world of acting would not have progressed as far as it has. Without them, there can be no community of actors with a passion for theater. This speech was my favorite to speak of in this class. I liked the surprise reversal of bootlegs are good instead of bad and illegal. I feel as if this is my best speech this semester, and the writing and planning shows that I took pride in my work. If you can't tell, this is something I feel very strongly about. Without the illegally recorded bootlegs that I watched to get me in my current career path, a BA theater degree, I doubtlessly would have never chosen to pursue the life of a performer. There would be one less performer in the world if I'd never touched those boots. In the same vein, if there were no such thing as bootlegging, there would be a whole world of performers who would be doing everything except making art. The sole reason these potential actors would never rise to their calling is that they never got their wake-up call to theater. Countless crew members and techies, too, found their star in theater thanks to a bootleg of a show. Another pro-bootleg argument I attribute to bootlegs is that without certain shows, I wouldn't have learned lessons that have shaped me into the young woman I am today. As I wrote earlier, and spoke of earlier, in the fourth section, I learned from Be More Chill that I shouldn't lust after a place in their social hierarchy. Cabaret taught me the effect a too needy person can have on the quality of life, especially in a time like the 40s in Berlin, Germany. Lizard Boy taught me about the different ways living in a toxic mindset can hurt. I myself, and thousands and millions of others, are made of so many different themes, of so many different shows that we all experience through bootlegs. Without them, we wouldn't have enough art in the world, and who knows what kind of person we would have grown into. Thank you.